In this video, I'll be going over each character and showing you what they're all about, so that way you can have a decision and pick your character based on who you like and what you see. So without further ado, let's just jump on into the video, and I hope you enjoy. So starting off with Akira, the poster boy of Virtua Fighter. If you're looking for someone who can just hit like a truck and deplete people's health bars, Akira is for you. Of course, he has a signature shoulder move. If you've seen the Virtua Fighter reboot trailer, you know, his iconic shoulder stance or shoulder move. Now, if we don't have the dummy block, we can see how much damage it does, and it's about like 20%, which is pretty dang good. So down plus punch plus kick plus guard, or two plus punch plus kick plus guard, or 6 and all the buttons will guard break and will allow Akira to follow up for a guaranteed jab combo. It doesn't get much. I believe this was plus 15 in Ultimate Showdown, but in REVO it might have gotten nerfed, so it's plus 13. And down plus all the buttons is another guard break, and it's a mid. But all Akira gets is just a 2-hitting follow-up. But he does have some cool throws as well, like a cool gut punch. Some cool, you know, just some cool stuff. The fighting style I believe he uses is called Banji Quan or Baji Quan. I'll have it up on the screen. But yeah, if you're looking for someone that can just hit like a truck, definitely pick Akira. So next up is Pai Chan. I believe she uses just generic kung fu. So if you're a fan of Chun-Li, which she uses kung fu as well, I highly recommend Pai Chan. She's super fast and acrobatic and agile. She can move pretty fast. Her moves are really good. She just has all these crazy kung fu flips and kicks and stuff. And these character guides are not meant to like show combos and stuff. This is meant to just showcase the character to try and get you to figure out your character. But she has all these pretty cool kung fu flips and throws and stuff. And she has this really good move. So here I have the dummy set the guard, and her 4P, sorry I had to think about that. Her 4P is plus 4 on block. It's a little slow, but it's plus frames. And if you land a hit, it staggers her. And if you land a counter hit, you can probably, okay. So you don't get much. It just knocks her back further. But yeah, if you're looking for a really cool, just kung fu character, fast and acrobatic, Pai Chan is for you. So next up is Lau Chan, and if you can't tell, he kind of has an identical stance. Looking at you, Hayachi. Anyway, Lau Chan is a pretty cool character from what I've messed around with. He's got some pretty neat moves. He's got these double piston kicks. He has like a double piston launcher as well. And look at this. If you want to choke slam people, yeah. That's pretty sick. He doesn't seem like a grappler, but he does have some pretty cool moves or cool throws. He has that, just a backdrop, and then he can literally flip him over and slam him. Combo output, or damage output, seems pretty decent. So there's that. That was the wrong combo though. Then you have that. That's not too bad. But you can even get this from just kind of mashing, and that's the same amount of damage, if not a little more. But yeah, he seems like he has some really cool and just flashy moves. And one thing I found was he has a guard break move, which is 6 and then all the buttons, punch plus kick plus guard. It's a high at 19 frames, and it leaves him at plus 15. So we can go for like forward punch or 6 PP, Oh, that's range. And that's guaranteed. But yeah, he just has some really sick moves, and again, he has the stance of Heihachi, so that should be enough to play him if you're a Heihachi fan. So give Lau Chan a chance and see if you like him. Now, if you're into grapplers, Wolf Hawkfield will be your character. Let me show you why. A lot of his throws are wrestling inspired. He has some pretty cool throws. I'll get to that throw here in a second. But just some body slams and suplexes and whatnot. He seems like a really cool character. Like, I might end up trying him later on down the road. But he is a hard hitter as well. Don't just let his throws intimidate you. But before we go into his strikes, I just want to go over his throw that he has. This is done by pressing 4-6 throw. Wolf will go into this stance, and then if you press forward and throw again, you have to time it. Otherwise, it just won't come out. But he'll switch sides, and then if you press back and throw again, he'll do this suplex. But Wolf can also shove his opponent forward or backward, and it leaves him at advantage, so he can follow up with stuff. Like, okay, that's too slow. Oh yeah, that's fast enough. So yeah, you can go for like 6p. He can also throw him backwards, so say you're against the wall and you want to put him against, like, on the wall. So if we have my back to the wall and we throw Blaze into the wall, it'll stun him, and we can go for a big combo. I don't know any wall combos with Wolf, but yeah, I'm sure he can get a ton of damage. But another thing is, he can charge up a lot of his moves. So his 4-6 punch is this big tackle. It's 30 frames, so it's kind of slow, but you can charge it even longer. And if your opponent is asleep at the wheel, they will get guard broken, and you can go for a big combo. That wasn't the full combo, but you get the gist of it. His other move is his just punch plus kick. This is super chargeable, and again, if your opponent's asleep at the wheel and they get hit, this is a guard break, and they can just get launched and die. So yeah, if you're just sitting there and you're not paying attention, Wolf will delete your health bar, no problem. So next is Jeffery. He is a big boy, and he may come across as a grappler, but he's not. He's just a big brawler. With his throws, he just has your generic, like, knee you and headbutt you and punch you in the face sort of deal. So yeah, he's not too much of a grappler, but his strikes are where he shines. He's got this big axe kick that if the opponent is caught sleeping at the wheel and they're guarding too much, they're gonna get guard broken and then can just eat a fat combo. Something like that. He's got some big launchers. Let me turn the dummy off. He's got this big launcher. He's got this big kick. He can step on your toes. All sorts of goofy brawler stuff. And he's got this hammer fist that actually gives him plus frames. So he also has this other plus on block move that is +2, but he has a few options he can do from it. So he has a punch follow-up that is a mid. So you might be able to use this in combos, but the other two options are mix-ups if your opponent just keeps guarding. So you have a kick follow-up, which ends in a low, and then Jeffery can go for a sort of knockdown attack, and he also has a throw. It's pretty slow, but if your opponent gets caught by it, they are going to eat a lot of damage. So if you're into the big body brawler type, Jeffery is your character. Kage Maru, the ninja character of Virtua Fighter, and my main. This character is super sick, and much like Pai Chan, he's super acrobatic because of course he's a freaking ninja. He's got some really cool moves. He's got this axe chop. He's got some, you know, cartwheels, ninja flips, and he's got some stances that he can go into. So from his 4P, he can go into this stance. I don't know what it's called, but he has a few options from it. He can go into a kick, or he can go into a PK. So if it'll catch your opponent mashing, and this is +1 on block, which is pretty crazy. So now you can frame trap with punch kick if they try to mash just standing punches. He also has this axe kick, which is +1 on block, and he can frame trap with stuff like 4P. And this is the other cool part about him. He has really cool throws. So that one's alright. Not my favorite, but he has this really cool ninja flip. But that's not my favorite. This is my favorite throw. Mainly because you can get a combo off it. So he launches his opponent super high up in the air. And you can get pretty decent damage from this. If I can pull it off. Okay, that's not the combo I wanted, but that was pretty decent damage already. But there you go. That's pretty decent damage. He's super fast and nimble, and has pretty decent pokes too for mid-range. So if you like fast and acrobatic, definitely give Kage Maru a try. If you like Hwalong from Tekken, you will fit right in with Jacky Bryant, because she quite literally has the flamingo stance. And she has quite a few options she can go from. There's just a lot to her that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to break down everything with her. But just know she uses a lot of kicks, and just she's tricky, and you can go, and she's just tricky. So like, again, if you like complex characters like Hwalong, that can go into like flamingo from a lot of different normals and strings, definitely pick up Sarah. So next up we have Jacky Boy. If you're a fan of Bruce Lee in any way, I would highly recommend you play Jacky, because his fighting style is legit Jeet Kune Do. His kicks and stuff literally are from, you know, the Bruce Lee fighting style. And he's got a lot of, not a lot, but he has a stance he can go into from some buttons. Punch, punch, kick. If you hold back, he'll go into the string, or says stance, and he can do a few things from it. And this big hook fist. This is actually plus on block. It's +2 or 4, my bad. So if your opponent is sleeping at the wheel, you can use this and get your plus frames. And his mid-screen combo damage actually isn't too bad. I'm sure you can get a little more. That was just a little example combo. But yeah, if you're a huge fan of Bruce Lee, and you just like the Jeet Kune Do fighting style, I highly recommend you pick up Jacky. Okay, if you're a fan of Lei Wulong, I highly recommend Shun D. I know I'm making a lot of Tekken comparisons, but Virtua Fighter just has a lot of similarities with Tekken. That's just how it is. But Shun D is literally the Lei Wulong of this game. He has a drink mechanic, if you can see up in the top left. You see his little alcohol bottle. With each drink, Shun D gets a 0.75% damage boost, and he unlocks moves in his moves list that he couldn't previously access before. He's super acrobatic and just has a lot of goofy moves. but he's like a super tricky character, and if you're gonna learn him, I highly recommend you just stick with him because he's super complex, but he's got some good plus frames. If you press forward K, the initial hit is plus, but if he's already in the stance, it's not. He's also got this goofy sitting down stance, and if you press punch plus kick, he'll do this headbutt, and this is actually a guard break, leaving him plus 13, so he can go for a guaranteed follow-up. So next we have Lion, who is cosplaying a mantis. No, I'm joking. He has the fighting style, the mantis fighting style, and he actually has a lot of cool moves that is characteristic to the fighting style, like this, his 1 PP. It's pretty cool. He also has some pretty okay throw animations. Like this you can get a combo off of, which is really cool. He's got some just cool acrobatic moves as well, and he has the super popular Superman punch, you know, that like Julia has, I believe, in Tekken. He's got that. He has it in a string, and you can just press forward punch. He also has this back punch plus kick move, and it's +2 on block, so he can get like a quick jab pressure. And I'm noticing he has an 11 frame jab, and he might actually be the only character in the game with an 11 frame jab. Correct me if I'm wrong. This 4 punch plus kick can be charged, and if they're blocking, it'll guard break them, and then he can go for a combo. So, if they get guard broken, they're gonna eat a chunk of damage, and what's even worse is if they get hit or even counter hit, they're gonna lose like almost half of their health. So, yeah, that's a pretty big chunk of your health if you just sit there and get hit. So he can change up his timings, you know, he can act like he's gonna charge it, but then let go, like last second, and then he can fully charge it and it becomes a mid. And again, they're gonna get guard broken, and if they get hit, they're gonna eat a chunk of damage. He's also got some pretty okay throw animations. So yeah, if you want to play someone that has the Mantis fighting style, check out Lion. So here we have Blue Plum Orphan, Aoi Umenokoji. I had to look up how to pronounce her name, so I put it in translate, and I got Blue Plum Orphan. That's what her name translates to. But anyway, her fighting style is known as Aiki Jujutsu. I thought it was judo at first, but she's got these really just like straightforward strikes. She doesn't do anything too fancy, but she has like these cool like judo throws. She seems like a kind of trickster in terms of like how she can cancel her moves. Some moves, if you press like guard, she'll stop in the middle of the animation, and then she can go for like a mix-up. So here she can stop the initial attack, but if I go through and do the follow-up, I can also cancel that second attack. So if I press the second attack and then guard right after, she'll cancel it. So she seems like a kind of hit and mix you up character. Again, she seems pretty much straightforward for the most part. It's just you gotta understand like how some of her strings work. Like her 6K can go into a parry right after if you hold it. So you press 6K and then hold all the buttons. So if you have a macro on your fight stick or controller, or you don't need a macro on the fight stick, but if you have one on the controller, you just press forward K and then hold the button. And if they try to counterattack you, you will parry them. So if they try to take their turn back, you'll switch them to the side, and then you can get like a guaranteed follow-up of like a jab string or something. Something fast, nothing too crazy. Her combo game seems pretty straightforward too, and she can get some decent damage off of a basic launcher. So, offer 3-3 P plus K, which is this launcher. She can, some characters I think she can go into that, and it'll bound them, kind of like Tekken. But if you just do a jab and then down K plus 2K PP, she'll combo. But yeah, she just seems like a trickster. She wants to like mix up her opponent with attacks and throw her opponent with some cool, flashy, like judo-like throws. So yeah, if this is your style, check out Blue Plum Child. If you like characters that just endlessly like to go into stances, this is probably for you. He is all about just mixing up his pressure through delayed strings, and he can go into different stances from different moves, and he can just constantly keep going into different stances. I'll show you here if I can get the opponent to counterattack. So here, for example, with his 6K, he goes into this kick, and then he goes into another stance after. If I can get the opponent to block. And it's just... Oh. So with his stances, he has moves that will pretty much parry the opponent if they try to attack, and he can go for big damage. So if you like counterattack type characters, this is your character for sure. And if you just like characters with like stances that you can keep switching into constantly, definitely try him out. He already seems like a blast of a character, and I haven't even played him. Once I definitely get into this game, I'm gonna try him out. But yeah, he just seems like he's a big counter hit character that has many stances and can do many different things. So here, this move is -2 on block, but if the opponent attacks, Lei Fei is gonna automatically parry him. So he's a counterattack and parry character. You just gotta figure out how his stances work, and figure out what moves you can be delayed. Like his 3P and 4P can be canceled into this stance. I don't know what it's called, but you press all the buttons to go into it, and if they try and take their turn back, you can counter hit them. So you just gotta learn like what strings he can cancel into that with, and he can land some pretty big counter hit combos. So next we have Vanessa. She is just a straight up brawler, and she's pretty unique as she has 2 different stances. The first is defensive stance, which she starts out in already. And the crazy thing is that she auto parries highs that aren't elbows. If it's an elbow, she won't. But watch.
Well,
I didn't press anything. So in this stance, if your opponent does any high and it's not an elbow, she will parry it. So you just gotta be careful when fighting her, doing highs and stuff. You actually have to do mids against her. But she's just your typical military brawler chick. She has... Wait, where did I see that before? Anyway, yeah, she is meant to just poke at the opponent, and she can go into her stance from different stuff. So she can go into her offensive stance from her defensive stance from 3K, and then if you press all the buttons, she'll go into it, and she'll go into it from her 6PK, and she can delay this slightly, and if the opponent tries to press, they will get counter hit. But this is her way of switching in between her offensive and defensive stance. She can get some big damage if they happen to press and they get counter hit. So if you're big into just like defensive and offensive stances like hers, and you want to auto parry highs, pick Vanessa. She'll be right up your alley. She looks pretty cool, and I don't know if I'll play her. And now, if I had to rate her, she'd probably be an intermediate, almost an advanced character. So if you're new, I wouldn't recommend her. Calling all boxer fans. Steve, I mean, Brad, pretty much the same thing. This character is a spitting image of Steve from Tekken, because he can do all sorts of stuff, going into a weave stance, and you can do stuff like this. If you want to troll your opponent. He's super fast, and he just has so many options that he can use to go into his weave, or dodge, whatever you want to call it. He also uses kicks. He's not like Steve. He doesn't just use punches. Brad actually uses kicks too. But yeah, if you want a super mix-up and kind of complicated character, but you're also a fan of boxing, Brad is your character for sure. He can even get some pretty decent damage off of a generic launcher. Like, that's 20%. And then if you turn on counter hit, you can get something like this. Something like that, and that's pretty freaking good damage off of a counter hit for K plus G. But yeah, pick up Brad if you want to play a boxer and just troll your opponent with his weave move. So here we have Mr. Blue Man Go. He is a pretty straightforward character. He doesn't really have any stances at all. It's just mainly his attacks and throws. If we take a look at his throws, it's like a lot of judo inspired stuff, and that's his fighting style, is judo. So yeah, his combos are pretty straightforward too. So if you're looking for someone who has pretty fairly easy combos to understand, I feel like Go would be a super good character for you to start out with. I might even like rank the characters as I'm doing this video. I just thought about that. So the other characters, I'll put like a little green, yellow, or red tag next to them to indicate their difficulty. But yeah, again, if you just want a super easy character to play, Go is your guy. I feel like he would teach you the fundamentals of Virtua Fighter, as well as Akira. Akira is pretty straightforward as well. Eileen, the little tricky monkey girl of Virtua Fighter. She can be very obnoxious, as she can cancel a lot of her moves into this stance, as you can see. So she can like cancel her jabs and stuff into it. She's meant to just be as obnoxious as possible, going into her stance and whatnot, and just making the opponent constantly guess in her pressure. And I've heard this character is widely annoying and hated by most of the Virtua Fighter community, probably for good reason. But she also has this cool little flip, and if you press throw, she'll claw your eyes out. She seems like a pretty cool character. Just complicated and technical. Not a starter character. I wouldn't recommend her. Again, I'll have a difficulty label next to her, as well as other characters in this choose your main video. But yeah, if you like the monkey fighting style and you just like annoying your opponent, pick up Eileen. El Blaze, the Mr. Luchador. This man is another wrestling figure in the Virtua Fighter world. So if you are a big wrestling fan and just a luchador fan in general, definitely check out El Blaze. He has some pretty funny and quirky stances, like he can do this run, and he has a few options out of it, like he can dive at the opponent. He also has this move. It kind of makes him face backwards, and then he can spit acid or fire, whatever that is. at his opponent, and if they get hit, he's plus 14. So he can go for a guaranteed like 6p. Something like that. His throws are pretty cool. They're all luchador wrestling inspired. Sweet chin music. Such a good throw. And usually you don't want to have your back to the wall because it's just a dangerous spot. But with El Blaze, it can be dangerous with him against the wall because he can just reverse it and do this to you. So yeah, that was just a simple combo. I'm sure he could tack on even more. But yeah, if you like luchadors and wrestling and a pretty simple character, he's pretty simple to use. He doesn't have like a whole lot of stances. He really just has one, and it's from like 3 moves at most. So yeah, check El Blaze out and wrestle some mofos. So now we have the grapplers of grapplers, Taka-Arashi, the big sumo man. The only downside is you can't sumo headbutt in this game, unfortunately, so you're gonna have to play Street Fighter for that. But if you're looking to grapple people in this game with a big sumo man, then look no further than Taka-Arashi. He has some pretty cool throws. Much like Wolf, he has this throw where he can choose what he wants to do. He can choose neutral, back, or forward. Okay, so I guess forward or back and neutral is the same? Okay, no. So if you choose back, he'll flip him over. If you choose neutral, he'll just pick him up and slam him on the other side. And then this one, he'll just sweep the leg. And then he has the head ringer. Pretty popular. I think Marduk has this in Tekken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's not even the most dangerous part of his throws. If he does this throw, he actually gets a combo. As you can see, he's plus 15, so he can go into his headbutt and get a pretty easy to confirm combo, if I can do it. So that's guaranteed. If he lands the throw, there's nothing you can do about it. You just gotta take it. And he also has some pretty interesting wall throws. But yeah, that does a pretty chunk of damage, and this is his other one. So it's safe to say you don't want to be against the wall and Taka at the same time. I would stay away from the wall as much as you can. But yeah, if you want to grapple people and do combos off your throws, definitely pick up Taka-Arashi. And last but not least, we have Jin Kujo. He is yet again another brawler, but like most brawlers, he's pretty straightforward. One unique thing about him is he can charge up the last hit of some of his strings. So for example, he can do PPP and charge the last punch. So this is good, as he can mix up the pressure, and he's plus 6 if he does this. So he gets massive plus frames for delaying his strings and making the opponent guess. And if you happen to land one of these, at least his 4 PP, you can get some pretty big damage. So that's not bad for landing a counter hit. He can also do it off KPP. And if the opponent gets hit on the second string, they're gonna have to respect the follow-up. So Jin is all about landing counter hits and fishing for them and just getting his opponent to press. His throws are pretty okay. They're just like powerhouse moves, slamming the opponent to the ground. He doesn't have very many because not a grappler. But he's a super basic and beginner character, so if you're looking to learn Virtua Fighter, I highly recommend Gene, as he's super straightforward and can teach you the fundamentals of Virtua Fighter. And that's the end of this video. If you made it this far, I greatly appreciate it. And if you've already decided on who you're gonna play by the end of this video, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious on who everyone's gonna play. But that's it. This is Darkson signing out, and I hope you take care. Peace.